Hello and welcome to the Warmness Machine podcast. My name is Lindsay. This is a fiber arts podcast. I am a crocheter, a knitter, and a spinner. Today's episode is going to be about my works in progress and some of my plans for the second half of 2025. Even though it's like going into July, it feels like 2025 has been 1,000 years long. Just really, we're just trudging along. It's very hard for me to come here and be disingenuous. And so I have no intention of being disingenuous with you. Things are weird and a little scary, but I have my Star Trek mug. I'm going to be an optimist, and I'm going to say to you that no matter where you are, we're in this together, and that's what society is about. You know, we can have discourse about different ideas, but the truth is the truth. We can't just say, oh, now the sky's purple, it's still blue. What are you talking about? So I think that's where my frustration lies with lies. I don't like the dishonesty that I'm seeing, and we just need to find a way to talk to one another and to recognize that no matter what, we're still all in this together. Nobody's leaving planet Earth. Hello. Nobody's leaving planet Earth. Nobody's leaving planet Earth. I had to get that off my chest because this has been a hard week for me. So let's talk about the good, soft squish. The good soft squish. I have something to show you. I'm so sorry about my chair. I promise this week I'm going to go get some WD-40. I promise. This weekend. So this is the Hobbit Vest by Lisa Chemery. I found this just looking for some children's patterns because I had some Knit Picks palette, and I was going to make another Playdate cardigan. I made one for my daughter, and I thought, I'm going to make one for my son. No, I'm not, because I don't want to make a fingering weight garment for my kids right now. And so I searched, and wouldn't you know, I found this cool vest, and it was enticing. It was a little feast of delights, because I started it maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and I am now at the button band. It has some different color pockets. I want to talk about this for a minute because a few years ago I read an article about how color's disappearing from the world. Like, if you look at the color palettes of today, it's a lot of silly grays and nonsense and beige. And then if you look back at the colors of medieval times or Victorian times, whatever, you see just a burst of color. And the article was talking about how slowly those colors are going away. And it also corresponds to this main theme in a lot of fantasy books, which is magic is disappearing from the world. I don't want magic to disappear. I don't want color to disappear. So I'm always adding these little touches of color wherever I can. And, you know, it's just so cool. So that's me. I thought for a minute I wouldn't have enough yarn. I said, is this the first time I'm going to play Yarn Chicken? Absolutely not. I have enough yarn. So I don't know what I'm going to do with whatever's left over from this, but I used up most of it. So yeah. And my son picked this pattern. So it was between the Lisa Chemery Hobbit Vest or a vest by Amy Sher. And I love Amy Sherr's designs. I have yet to make one, but I showed my son both of these, and when he saw that this was a Hobbit vest, and we listened to The Hobbit sometimes before, you know, in the morning, so we don't have to turn the TV on. We'll listen to it while we eat breakfast. He immediately chose this one. So I just need to add the button band and some ribbing to the edges, and then I'm done. And I hope to finish that. School just got out, and so this is for school next year. This is the largest size, which is labeled a 10-year-old. My son is not 10, but he's getting there. So, so yeah. I'm going to just kind of take a little detour, and then we're going to get right back on. Last year, around this time, I started delving into dyeing yarns, and I never talked about it on the channel, and I don't know why. But I did an experiment where I put some yarn in like a steamer, and then I poured dye on it, and then I steamed it, and it came out beautifully, but it was kind of still white. I was inspired by these leaves, which I don't think I got the color of right, even though I did get close for a first attempt. So this is my first attempt at dyeing yarn. I'm gonna go back in and dye again. So we'll see how it goes. I'd like to show it to you. I'm really, really loving these colors though. And this is made with Osage Orange, and this is made with cochineal. So yeah, that's it. Let's see how it turns out when I dye them again. So then I dyed it in pink, and I think cochineal, because I like natural dyes. So this is the pink that came out, and then this is the pink that was like kind of, let's use the word over dyed, even though I'm not sure if that's the quite correct term. So this was dyed twice, this was dyed once. And this is kind of like a pink, and this is kind of like an orangey color. This is the color that I loved, and this is the color that I was gonna make whatever with. And my son, when he picked the Hobbit vest, turned to me and said, and make one for my sister. Same thing, because they are together in all things. She picked the color that I love. This is a fingering weight. It is a BFL nylon blend that I got, I don't know from where, to dye yarn with. I'm gonna hold it double and make the vest for her with the yarn that she asked for. That's all. That's the story of me being sad about something. But I had 3 of these pinks, and I took one, and you'll never be able to see the subtlety because it's very, very subtle. But I took one and I put it in like an iron bath, and iron is supposed to kind of sadden a color. I don't know what the word is, but sadden would be right. It's a little bit less vibrant. I can barely see the difference. Let me see if you can. I don't know if you can. Anyway, I don't know, but I can barely see the difference. So this is going to be socks. And this, no idea. But I could make more socks, or I could put it, I don't know, I can do anything with it. So now let's talk about another work in progress that's over here. I got it from this cool book, Charming Colorwork Socks by Charlotte Stone. Charlotte Stone goes by Stoneknits on Ravelry, and she is just as whimsical as a little fairy. She must be like a human fairy. That's what we have to start calling people who just come up with this kind of stuff. Because look at these socks. I love these socks. I want to make every pattern in this book. So I've made a pattern before. I've made I think it's called Summer Meadows. see if I can find it. It's very hard to, there it is. I made this sock. Incredibly warm and so much fun to make. I am now making this sock. It is the Autumn Mice sock. If you didn't notice, there's a little lace detail on the foot. It was so much fun. And then I mean, I've never had second sock syndrome, but I think, you know, a sign of the times, right? I have one sock. I finished one sock and I've yet to start the second one. This has an Eye of Partridge heel, which I've never done, which I thought was super, super cool. It looks super cool. And there's baubles and there's little mice. And it feels so nice. And so I thought, oh, I should give these away. I don't like giving these. I don't like to give my colorwork socks away because they're so warm and they're filled with whimsy. And if you don't know, like fairies, hobbits, no. But like goblins, I think are part of fairies, or like a species of fairy. I read this book called Goblin Mode. I listened to it. And it was such a fun little book to to read. But I think fairies, I think goblins are under the fairy species. The next sock I will be making is this sock called O Valencia. It is out of this book, which I got from the library. It's called Custom Socks Knit to Fit Your Feet by Kate Atherley. This is amazing. This book has charts for how to make socks for any foot, for people who have different things going on. I don't know if it's a bigger instep or a shorter heel, whatever it is, a fatter, wider foot, whatever it is, it's in here. And so the pattern that I'd like to show you is for O Valencia, which I am going to be using this yarn to make. I thought about making this in like a variegated color, but it kind of looked like vomit. So hopefully it doesn't look like vomit. These are the socks. I love lace. I think I am going to give these socks away, even though I love lace. I really love lace. I love lace socks. I do. And the lace pattern was it wasn't incredibly intuitive. She has two different charts for two different sizes. And then she has a purl through the back loop. But if you look on the second chart, it just has a regular purl. So I don't know what that's about. And I don't know what that's about. That's a question. So my grandmother gave me, or I took a shirt from her, and the shirt is now kind of tattered, but I still wear it, but I can't wear it to work or anything. And I love it. And it's got a collar and it's really, really cool. And I'm just making panels. And I'm going to add, it's really quite big. This is bamboo yarn. This is True Boo from Lion Brand. It was in my stash. My goal for the rest of the year is to refrain from buying yarn. However, I've bought so much yarn. It's really kind of crazy. So I can't, I'm not supposed to buy any more yarn. My kids are like, no more yarn for you. And I'm like, yes, I know. No more yarn for me. And, you know, it's a joke, but it's not a game. It's true. It's not even funny. It's true. So yeah, this is the back panel. And when I get finished with it, I will show it to you then. But I'm really excited about it. And it's a summer knit, so I'm excited to wear it because summer right now is going through September. The heat is heating, so there's that. So now I'd like to get to the children's book recommendation. So normally when I have a book recommendation, I like to get a book from the library, but we don't have any cool books from the library right now that we were like in love with. So the ones we did like, we had to return. So I'm gonna show you a book that we actually started purchasing because we loved it at the library. And these are a series of books. They're called the Mr. Putter and Tabby, and they are by Cynthia Rylant, illustrated by Arthur Howard. There are a ton of books in this series. There's Bake the Cake, there's Take the Train, there's Pour the Tea. And all these books are super cool because it's about an older man. So I'll just read. This one is like an origin story of how Mr. Putter and Tabby got together. Tabby's his cat. And I will read a couple pages for you. Chapter 1, Mr. Putter. Before he got his fine cat Tabby, Mr. Putter lived all alone. In the mornings, he had no one to share his English muffins. In the afternoons, he had no one to share his tea. And in the evenings, there was no one Mr. Putter could tell his stories to. And he had the most wonderful stories to tell. All day long, as Mr. Putter clipped his roses and fed his tulips and watered his trees, Mr. Putter wished for some company. So, I love this book. And I love these books. This one, Take the Train, is really silly. This one, Bake the Cake, is really silly. And this one is just a wonderful story about how Mr. Putter got Tabby in his life. And it kind of focuses on older people living. It's in America. Oh, you hear my little ones are here. We're about to go to the pool. So I'm gonna wrap it up. And I'm gonna say thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. I hope your making is going well. I hope everything's going well with you. And I will see you in the next episode.